The future is not something you wait for, it's something you build. It lives in the hands of the doers, the dreamers, the people who refuse to stand still. Resorts World is more than a casino. It's energy, it's opportunity, it's hope for the borough. A second chance for some, a first step for many. It's where community gathers, not just to win, but to build a future once imagined. This isn't just business, this is legacy. And now it's time to invest in us. Because the future doesn't ask for permission, it moves with purpose. From our chairman to our newest employee, we're committed to Queens. And in Queens, the future is now.
Nas had been quiet for a long time, almost too quiet. In a culture obsessed with headlines and constant uploads, his silence was noticeable. But that's how he's always moved. Strategic, focused, calculated, and then suddenly, there it was. A bombshell announcement that shook both the business and hip-hop world to its core. Nasir Jones, the kid from Queensbridge, had just closed on a multi-billion-dollar deal that would reshape the entire borough. A $5.5 billion casino and entertainment complex was officially on the way. And Nas wasn't just a face or a brand ambassador. He was part owner. This wasn't just about glitz and slots. This project would include luxury hotels, thousands of jobs for locals, retail space, concert venues, green spaces, and long-term educational programs for underserved youth in Queens. It wasn't a vanity project. It was infrastructure. It was legacy. And while most of the hip-hop world was clapping in admiration, one voice stood out in bitter contrast.
The billboard entries, pull up Nas billboard entry. He's your son.
No, but he knows.
My son can't tell you one Nas record.
Jim Jones, Harlem's own, known for his brashness and unwavering sense of street loyalty. Just a day after the news of Nas' deal began trending, Jim hit the airwaves with what sounded like shots masked as casual commentary. He didn't say Nas' name directly, but it was clear, talking about so-called OGs who pop up only when there's money or attention to grab. Talking about legends who haven't really been active in the trenches, but somehow end up praised for their contributions. The subtext wasn't lost on anyone. The timing, the location, the clear contrast between Jim's boots-on-the-ground image and Nas's high-level business moves. People put two and two together immediately. Social media lit up with the usual frenzy. Some agreed with Jim, claiming too many of hip-hop's elite had distanced themselves from the communities that birthed them. Others called him a hater outright. But while the debate unfolded online, Nas never said a word. No Instagram posts, no podcast rants, not even a cryptic tweet. Instead, he was photographed in a closed-door meeting with Queens civic leaders, reviewing plans for housing development, scholarship endowments, and a new arts center tied to the casino project. That silence, it spoke louder than any diss track could. Word on the street was that Nas didn't even dignify Jim's comments with a conversation. Insiders close to the project said he simply laughed when asked about it. His energy was different now. Grown man moves, billionaire circles. The kind of moves you don't explain to people still trying to trend. Jim, feeling the heat, tried to walk it back a bit. In another interview just days later, he claimed he wasn't talking about Nas directly. He said it was just general commentary on how the industry treats legacy. But by then, the streets had already made up their mind. Nas had pulled a power move so big, so undeniable, that the only response was respect or jealousy. And it wasn't just about money. It was about what Nas had been building in the shadows for years. Through his Queensbridge venture partners firm, he had invested early in companies like Dropbox, Lyft, Coinbase, and Ring. He didn't need to flex it. He let the returns speak for themselves. Quietly, Nas had become one of the most successful investors in hip-hop history, and now he was coming home to put that wealth to work in a way few rappers ever have. Community leaders began speaking up. They praised Nas for not just cashing in, but cashing in for Queens, for bringing jobs to an area that had long been overlooked, for making sure there were seats at the table for Black developers, Black educators, and Black-owned businesses. The Queensborough president management went on record thanking him personally for helping rewrite what community reinvestment looks like. Meanwhile, Jim Jones went back to doing interviews, and more than once, he seemed agitated when Nas's name was brought up. At one point, he even asked the host why everyone kept comparing him to a guy who doesn't even rap actively anymore. But that was the point. Nas didn't need to rap right now. He wasn't looking for streams or relevance. He was building something no chart position could compete with. He was turning legacy into equity. The most ironic part was that Nas never even acknowledged
Pop Champagne, Summer in Miami. That's a classic.
If I Rule the World, how's that comparable to those songs you just said?
I'm 22. Every Nas song that my man's MJ played, we said we heard that from what, Dub?
2K.
2K. Those songs are in the video game.
Okay.
I have never in my life said at a party, yo, throwing that Nas right now. If you did top 3 influential people,
like a Jim Jones, like I respect you getting your money. You're like, exactly.
Jim directly. He didn't need to. The comparison was loud enough on its own. One man is shouting on podcasts, the other is laying concrete in his neighborhood. One is chasing clout, the other is creating capital. And the fans noticed. Memes started floating around showing Nas in a suit overseeing blueprints, while Jim was screaming into microphones. Quotes from past Nas interviews resurfaced. Ones where he talked about longevity, about building for the long game, about how real kings don't move for applause, they move for impact.
I will run circles around Nas rapping right. I will run circles around Nas rapping right now.
Hey,
Singing,
this is the biggest podcast you ever been on.
Name one Nas record.
This is the biggest podcast you ever been on. Do you know the podcast?
It felt prophetic now. Even some of Jim's own fans started to fall back. They could see the energy shift. The industry was rewarding maturity now. Power, control, ownership, not antics, not Instagram stories, not studio threats. Those days were over. This new era of hip-hop was about moves that last longer than a trending topic. There was also talk that Nas had turned down multiple offers to turn his involvement in the project into a reality show or branded docuseries. He reportedly didn't want cameras following him around. He wanted the work to be the story. That alone separated him from the pack. While others were chasing content, Nas was chasing control. And let's not forget the bigger picture. This wasn't just about Nas versus Jim. This was about a shift in hip-hop's understanding of power, about artists realizing they could be the developers, the landowners, the city planners. For decades, hip-hop was treated like a hustle. Now it was being seen as a platform for full-scale transformation. One of the realest moments came when a young high school student from Queens was interviewed about the project. She said, "We've seen rappers come back and give turkeys, but we've never seen one come back and give careers." That hit different. So while Jim kept making noise, Nas kept making moves. By the time the groundbreaking ceremony took place, Nas was standing with elected officials, developers, and educators, smiling, focused, unbothered. There were no chains, no entourage, just blueprints and vision. And the cameras caught it all. In the end, Jim's comments faded from relevance. Just another clip in a long stream of barbershop debates. But Nas's actions left a mark. A real one. Brick and mortar, land and law, paperwork, not playlists. And if you look closely, you'll see the truth. Nas didn't need to diss Jim. He ethered him without a word, letting his success become the reply, letting his silence become the smoke, letting his project become the final verse. Because when you reach a certain level, beef ain't about bars, it's about buildings. And Nas just built one big enough to drown out the noise for good.